Hello, everyone, and welcome back to That Eurovision Side, Eurovision with a Slice of Life. My name is Nicklas. I am back with my first Eurovision reaction of the season, and today we're taking a look at Malta, which is being represented by Aidan and the song Bella. Now, Aidan won the chance to represent Malta at the Eurovision Song Contest this year after winning their national final a couple of days ago. Now, a lot of people know that this isn't the first time that Aidan has tried. Just like many other artists in Malta, this is definitely not his first rodeo. Some may remember his song Ritmo from a few years ago, which was very popular, but Bella is the song that he will be taking with him to Eurovision. It's co-written by Sarah Bonici, who represented the country a couple years ago, so definitely a star-studded team, but let's take a listen to the song and see what I think. Starting off here with Aidan and his cowboy hat. You know, cowboy hats in Eurovision, that can go one of either ways. I do like the little title card. And now the cowboy hat is off, apparently. This definitely feels very different to the kind of songs that Aidan usually goes for in the Malta Eurovision, but he does sound great, and the kind of sound fits his voice very well, actually. But it is very dark, the staging at least. This definitely has that, like, nostalgic Italian vibe, if you know what I mean. Okay, the rose petals and the light, that's a pretty nice touch. You know, for Malta, this is actually a pretty solid staging. This part as well is actually, it's executed pretty well. And you know, they usually don't have the biggest budget for the national final, so I'm pretty impressed actually. But the song doesn't really go anywhere. Like, I feel like we haven't had a proper chorus yet, and I feel like we're about like halfway into the song. Okay, we're getting a bit of a build up here, and we have some visual effects as well. That's also pretty cool. And we have the Maltese language, something that he's known for as well. This part is really cool, and it actually works rather well. You know, it's hard to do this kind of thing. But the build-up didn't really go anywhere. We just kind of went back to the same that we've already heard. And that was it, I guess, without any, like, big finish or anything. I can't help but feel like I talked more about the staging than I did about the actual song in this reaction. And I think the reason that I did that is because the song doesn't really go anywhere, if I'm being honest. I feel like the song just kind of drags for the first 2 minutes or so, and then when you finally get that build up and you have all the rose petals and the wind and everything looks pretty cool. I think it's one of my favorite parts of this performance, and you think it's building up to that like big final chorus, and then it just doesn't. This feels like a song built for a song contest, built for a live performance, and there isn't necessarily anything inherently wrong with that, but it does mean that you don't really get the full package. I think Aiden sounds nice, and like I said, I think this is the sort of song that suits his voice. But with that being said, I don't really think it does much. I don't think it really brings anything new to the table, and it's not the kind of song that I could see myself listening to without having the live performance. That's really what it lives on. I think the performance itself and Aiden being a name that a lot of the Maltese public have wanted to go to Eurovision for a while, I think those factors are at play here in terms of why he won this national selection. And also, it's Malta, and the songs in general don't have that high of a production value. So I can see this song standing out in the crowd. This is very much a jury song. And obviously, we're very early into the season right now, so we don't know what kind of songs we are actually going to get this year. If we get a lot of jury heavy songs, this could struggle. But at the same time, I feel like it's the kind of easily listenable song that a lot of people will nod along to. It is that mom crowd, right? It really appeals to that crowd. And it also does appeal to juries. It's not necessarily the most difficult song to sing, but I still think it has that like well produced, kind of middle of the road thing that juries often seem to go for because it's more professional to be middle of the road than experimental, I guess. I don't agree with that sentiment, but we've seen it a lot of times. Had the juries not been back in the semifinals, I think I would have written this off and I would have said, I don't think this is qualifying. But because we have the juries back in the semifinals, and also because the song does kind of fit in that genre that we've seen before. Actually, we've seen it before with a cowboy hat as well. Think someone like Due Bob or even Stefan from Estonia. It's the kind of sound that usually gets enough televoting points and a high jury score for it to go through the semifinal without any struggle, and then finishing somewhere down the bottom in the final. I can see the same with this. Somewhere between like 15th and 25th place is where I would probably put this in the final, because I do think it has that potential to qualify. I don't know what they can really do to improve this performance. I think, if anything, I think just go even harder. I feel like compared to what we've seen in the Maltese national final before, like this is actually already pretty much there. Usually there is a lot of work to do from the national final up until Eurovision to polish it for a big stage. I don't necessarily think this needs it. I'm sure there are ways that they can tune it a little bit and fine tune it and make it better, but I think they're already well on their way when it comes to the staging, at least. Maybe a revamp can make it more interesting, give us that big finish we need. I don't know, but that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like this or not? Thank you for watching yet another reaction here on that Eurovision side. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more videos from us, and share the videos with your friends if you'd like. You can follow us on all the social medias. We are at that Euro site on most platforms like X and like Blue Sky and like Instagram and TikTok. And of course, also remember to check out our podcast called That Eurovision Side. But that's all for me today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you soon.